Hello and welcome to another lesson on Cisco configuration. In this lesson we're going to set up a DHCP server on the router, and then we're going to give out IP addresses to our clients, and then in turn they're going to go through the router and connect to a web server or HTTP server that's running DNS, so that we can type on our clients, we can type in both the IP number or the DNS name to connect to the server. So let's build the network quickly. So I'm going to need I'm going to use the 1941 router. I'm going to take a 2960 switch, and then we're going to need two PCs. And we're going to need a server to run DNS and DHCP off. So this is going through a router. So the HTTP and DNS are going to be running off 10.0.0.2 and the subnet mask 10. The gateway will be 192.168.1.1 and DNS will be itself 10.0.0.2. For the router, so for 0/1 it'll be 10.0.0.1, and for 00 for inside of the network it's going to be 192.168.1.1. For DHCP we're going to exclude 192.168.1.1 all the way to 192.299. We're going to we're going to give a DNS address of 10.0.0.2 this server, and we're going to give a default router of 192.168.1.1, and we're also going to need to use RIP routing. Okay, so there's the IP addresses, there's the ranges we're going to use. So this machine should pick up settings of 192.168.1.100, 255.0, 192.168.1.1 and 10.0.0.2. And then this one will pick up exactly the same, except it'll be 101. So I'm going to use straight through cables, fast Ethernet 0 to 1. If any of these cables turn out to be wrong, we needed a crossover, we can just delete it and put a new crossover in. So I'm going to go from Ethernet 1 there to 00, and from 01 to fast Ethernet 0 there. That's a gig port, that's a 100 meg port. Auto negotiation will step in and default the router down to 100 meg. So that's why we can get away with plugging mismatched speeds, if you like, because the auto negotiation will deal with that for us. So we've got our plan, we know what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to do is configure all of the devices. I'll start with IP on the server. So it's going to be 10.0.0.2, 192.168.1.1. So it's going to be the gateway here to get, we need the gateway to get to this network, and the DNS server is itself. So that's the server setup. We'll change these to DHCP in a few moments, just to prove the point. So we now need to go into the router, command line and no, and then enable and elevate the privileges to conf t. So what do we need to do first? Well, the first thing is to give the IP addresses to the ports. So interface gig, and I press the tab button, 00, IP address 192.168.1.1 and 255.0, and no shut or no shut down means the port will come up. You'll have to excuse all my typos. Then I'll use the up arrow and I'll change it to gigabit Ethernet 01. This time I'll change it to 10.0.0.1, 255.0, and no shutdown. So you can see everything's starting to go green now. So I've configured the port on our routers, so everything seems to be happy there. So the next thing we need to do is just a quick recap on our DHCP lesson. So the thing is that on the routers, DHCP is automatically enabled. Automatically enabled is okay, because if there's no assignments to give out to scope, then there's no IP addresses for it to give out. So service DHCP turns it on or make sure it's on, and then I type in IP DHCP excluded dash address, and I'll type in 192.168.1.1 to 192.168.1.1.99 as per what we agreed at the start, 1 to 99. So I'll hit enter. So now I've excluded the address range. It's not going to give those out. I now need to name a pool. So IP DHCP pool, and I'll just call it the main pool. I'll just type in main. IP DHCP pool main. I could have called it lesson 1. I could have called it anything. Enter, and now you can see it's gone to config. DHCP config. So now I type in the network I'm working on, and that will be 192.168.0, 192.168.1.0. That's the network I'm working on, and I need to put the subnet mask in. Whenever you put these ranges, you need to put a subnet mask in. So that's the network I'm on, and then if I was to just leave now, it would give out an IP address, it would give out the subnet mask, but it wouldn't put a default router in or the gateway, and it wouldn't put DNS in. So I put in default dash router, and that's 192.168.1.1, and DNS dash server 192. The DNS server will be 10.0.0.2, and that is everything we need to configure for now. We'll need to come back to RIP later on when we run into problems. So if I go to my PC now, hopefully this is giving out IP ranges. So well, what I could do is do show run just to make sure everything's okay. So excluded addresses have been typed in correctly. The name of the pool is main. 192.168.1.0 is the network. The router is 1.1. 10.0.0.2 is correct. And 192.168.1.1, 2550, and 10.0.0.1. Yeah, everything's okay there. So all of that's done in the router. So if I go to DHCP, or change it to DHCP now, 192.168.1.100, and everything we want has been given out. So I'll do the same on this one as well. Desktop IP configuration DHCP 101 as we predicted. So DNS server is correct. So everything from that end is sorted. Let's just try a quick ping exercise. So ping 192.168.1.101, that's the neighbor, it can ping. And let's do 1.1, and we can ping. And let's do ping 10.0.0.1, the gateway here. And now last one, the DNS or the HTTP server, and it's not going to be able to ping it. These devices can speak to the router, and the router can tell it what the other port is, but it can't get out because there's no routing protocol set up. Because what it is this is the 10.0.0.0 network. So this is all, everything here is the 192, everything in here is the 192.168.1.0 network, and this is the 10.0.0 network. So that's how we get between 10.0.0.2 and 10.0.0.1. So I need to go back to my router, exit out of the DHCP config, and all I need to do is router and RIP. So if it was OSPF, it would be, or I'd have to type in OSPF v1 or v2. So router is RIP and network is 10.0.0.0. If it was OSPF, I'd have to put in the reverse wildcard, so 255 would become 0 and 0 would become 255. So 255.255.255.255.0 becomes 0.0.0.255. If it was static routing, we would just put in the proper subnet mask, and for RIP we don't need to put it in at all. This command will do. So I've typed that in and we are now done. So if I go back and I ping it, you can see that I've now got replies. So with that done, the final part for me to do now is go back to my server, go to services and DNS. I need to add in a name, a resolution. So it will be www.roomc10.com, all one word, no gaps. And it's the name of the server, to look up a server page is the name of the server it's on. So I click add, it's added in the record. And just to prove it is working, if I click HTTP, these are the pages that are being pre-configured by Cisco. And make sure I switched that on, yes I did. HTTP, if I go to index and edit, and I will take out the packet tracer, I'll put caps lock on, and I'll type my room C10 page. Save it, yes, I'll overwrite it. So now, with DNS and DHCP and RIP all configured, I should be able to get through to this. So to do that, close that, go to a web browser from one of the PCs, and I'll type in 10.0.0.2, and it brings up my room C10 page, although I left a letter in there. Just have a look. Save that. And you see it's gone, so pretty fast, pretty nifty. So there's the page, and I can navigate around. So that's working. And if I go to the command prompt on this one and I type in www.roomc10.com, you can see it's used DNS to get there as well. So everything's working. So that was a quick lesson. We've been nearly 15 minutes and we've set up PCs, routers, switches, DHCP, DNS, HTTP. We've done quite a lot, but we've managed to get it all working, configured with routing. I hope you found that lesson useful, and I will see you at the next lesson. Thank you very much.